Hello fellow vapors, Vaping Newbie here, and I got a new device that I just picked up. Stick around. Recently I posted a video I called tongue-in-cheek Gourd Can 2015, and it was a personal journey for me to visit people that are near and dear to me in the Toronto area that I don't really get to see often. And I knew I wasn't going to make Vape Cam, which is the Canadian national, if you will, gathering of vapors that they have in Toronto, which was held 24th, 25th, 26th of July. I'd gone the previous week and visited some vape shops, some that I've been to, some that I haven't. And this vape shop called Vapeshore, link is down there, right down there. I'm not sure they're having issues with their website, so please be patient with that. But they carry some really, really good stuff and some fantastic house juices. And came out with a new line as well called Snake Oil. So I don't know too much about it, so I won't go into that. But I picked up a new machine. It's the Evic VT. Now, when I say new, obviously it's new to me. I didn't do a whole unboxing because, quite frankly, I've had it for too long, and it's been done, I'm sure, over and over. But within this box, you get the machine, you get the Ego 1 Mega Tank, you get two coil heads. One is a titanium, which has a red ring around it, and one is nickel that has a blue ring around it. The titanium head is about a 0.4 ohm coil head, and the nickel is about a 0.2 ohm coil head, although it does fluctuate slightly higher in both cases. You also get the charge cord, and it is a 5,000 mAh battery. We'll get into the details a bit later, but they even threw in this sort of cover or sleeve, if you will. I haven't even taken out of the bag yet. And an instruction booklet, but like any good male, I don't read instructions. I just go in head first. So that's that. Without further ado, let's get a bit more involved in the Evic VT. The Evic VT comes in three different colors. It comes in a burnt orange with a black stripe, a black with a red stripe, and a white with a powder blue stripe. And that's the one that I opted for. There was just something about it that jumped out at me. Funny thing is, I promised myself I wasn't buying anymore, and I just had to have this. Now, this has been used for quite a while, so unfortunately it's not as clean as right out of the box, but you'll forgive me. One of the things I like about it, the 510 connector right there, it is spring-loaded. I did put a screwdriver in there, and there is a bit of give, so that's always a good thing. And it's looks to be copper. On the top also, it has a whole stainless steel base, and then you have this switch here, and that is to change your temperature or your wattage and your screen. We'll look at that in a minute. You do have that really nice look to it. I just find it's really nice. There's your USB connector, which I love. It's on the side. It's got some nice venting underneath. I don't know. There you go. You can pick that up. And no big writing. It just says Evic VT on one side. Can you get that? And on the other side, Joyetech. So really like the look of it. Let's take a look at the screen now and just look at the different setups that it has. One thing I didn't mention was the large fire button on the top. And that's right above the screen. You press that 5 times. And your screen appears. We're going to look at that a bit more in depth, but hopefully I'm going to be able to get this in focus. There is no atomizer on it. When I press the button, no atomizer found. So let's take a moment, take more of an in-depth look at what the screen looks like as soon as you turn it on. Once you push the button, the fire button that is, 5 times to get it going, you get this screen. Now you can see it says at the top, temperature, TI, which is titanium. Then power, which is the wattage, then it has atomizer, and you'll see a little lock to there. We'll discuss that a bit later. And then the resistance to the atomizer, and then the battery life. I'm going to take you through some steps here, and unfortunately, it may go out of focus, so I want to apologize for that. Okay, while the power is on, you press the button 3 times, and you'll notice the top or the temperature now will start to flash. That toggle switch, by pushing it to your left, will cause it to change. So if you want to change your wattage, this is the way you do it. And then down below. Now, I was talking about that little lock that you see right beside the word atomizer. If I move the toggle to my right, it'll take it off. Now, we'll discuss what that is in a moment. Let me get through this. By pressing it again to the left, I'm now at the battery. I can choose if I want, by pushing it to the right, a puff counter and the amount of time that it's being used. In, my guess would be minutes. I'm not sure about that. Let me confirm that. This is what happens when you don't read instructions. Again, by waiting, it just goes out. So I want to keep that indicator on the bottom on the battery level. That seems to me to be the most logical. And we just push it to the right, and there it is. So you can either wait and it'll time itself out to stop flashing, or by pressing the fire button, it just stops flashing on its own. Okay, I have my dripper on it now, which is a Mutation X version 3, and you can see it changed into wattage mod, so it's not, there's no temperature control. It goes from 1 to 60 watts, so you see that on the top, and again the voltage, and then the resistance of the dripper. And you can see my battery's getting really low, so I'm going to have to charge this puppy soon. So that has the Kanthal build on it. Let's go up top and see how it performs. The fact that to change the wattage, you cannot round robin. So I have it at its maximum. I have it at 60 watts. In order for me to go from 60 down, you have to go through it all. What I did was I timed myself, and I took from 1 watt up to 60. It took 14 seconds to make that, so not too bad. And the performance of this with Kanthal, and I've been hearing a lot about that power surge, it's actually working real well. Of course, when we're talking about people that use clouds or trying to attempt to make clouds, most of that is a combination of two things. It's going to be the build, and of course how much power is going through it. The limit being 60 watts, it's not going to be a cloud machine, but definitely the flavor is there. Now, with Kanthal, which this dripper has, you can get dry hits. There's no temperature control. There's nothing to shut down the power, so you got to keep that in mind. But I also have a dripper that I have with a nickel build. So we're going to switch that out and take a look at what happens with a totally dry coil. Okay, I changed the dripper for one with a nickel coil build, and as you see, it's still on power mode. If I press the button, the fire button, it'll say atomizer low, will not fire. So I press that button 3 times, get the top flashing. Oops. Put it into nickel coil, press that button. Now it's in a nickel coil build. There's hardly any juice on this, and I got to tell you, I cannot vape it because it's just not firing properly. When I push that button, it keeps that temperature really low. There's hardly any vapor coming out at all. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's protecting you from getting a dry hit with a nickel coil build. Okay, some fun things here. You can put this in the stealth mode by pushing the fire button and turning the toggle switch to your left. It'll say stealth on or stealth off. Never really used that, so I'm not quite sure why you do that. If I push the fire button and turn the toggle switch to the right, it will lock in all my settings, so I cannot change anything. If I try, let me get out of stealth mode here. Now, if I try to change the wattage, it comes back that it's locked. So that little ditty, you should know that it does that. But there are a few hiccups to this device, without a doubt. But let's now go back up top. You've seen what it can do, and now we'll talk about the pros and cons of it. I want to show you something before we go up top and get some final thoughts. I do want to show you something I found quite interesting, and I hope it stays in focus. I press this 3 times, and I get that top thing flashing. And if I want to change the wattage, I just simply push that to the left. It drops the wattage. Now, this is where I hope I can get this and get it focused. But if I change that, it'll hit 60 and then it stops. So it stopped at 60, but if I wait a second and push it again, it will start again at 30 watts. And that's how you use it in temperature control mode. It works from 30 to 60 watts. So it doesn't quite round robin, but that little delay where you're going to hit 60, you release that toggle switch and then press it again, it'll start at 30 and bring it to where you want to be. Let's talk tanks. You're welcome. There are two kits for the Evic VT. One is the basic kit, which is the VT, a charge cord, and that wrap, or not quite a wrap, I'm sorry, the sleeve. And the other comes with an Eagle One Mega Tank, and that's the kit that I bought. It was approximately $25 more, roughly. So to me, it was worth it. I got the tank that matches it, and I actually bought a second. The tank just says Eagle One Mega in the matching color, so that's kind of nice. I just like that. Holds about 4 milliliters of juice. It has an exchangeable drip tip, but I like the drip tip that comes with it. And I'm not a big fan of metal drip tips, but I do like this one. It does have dual airflow control on the bottom. You can see that on there and then on there. So it's fully adjustable. And there's like a little nib, and I don't know if you're going to be able to pick it up, but this might be difficult, but right in, I can't get it to focus. I apologize, folks. But there's like a little ball on the end. So as you adjust the airflow, it'll stop it when it's fully open or fully closed. If you want to change, I've got to be careful here, but if you want to change the coil head, it's quite simple. Now, I'm going to remove the drip tip because I do have juice in here, and that is another plus. You don't lose your juice. So you just simply unscrew the back. I'm going to set that aside with the juice in it. And there's the coil head. And that's why I was mentioning it's red, so it's a titanium coil head. And by simply unscrewing that, that's it. So it is that easy. Put in the coil head, screw it in, and then the part that I really like, and this is going to sound minor, but it is something that I do like. Screwing this back in, as I tighten it, what's happening is I'm also opening up the airflow channels. I found that really odd with the Delta 2 tank. The Delta 2, you screw it, you tighten it in, and you're closing the airflow, and then you have to bring it back to open up that airflow. I'm pretty sure it was the Delta 2. Let me just check, because I have one right here. Yeah, as you tighten it, you can see how on the Delta 2 it is closed. So you have to tighten it, the base in, and then bring it back to open up the airflow. With this, it's the exact opposite. And it's a minor thing, but it's something that I really like, I have to admit. So that is the Eagle One Mega Tank. I would always recommend, if you're going to get this device, get an extra tank, because it's, again, all-encompassing. You buy the tank, you get a nickel coil. You buy it separately, you get a nickel coil head and the titanium coil head. So again, you buy that as a spare, and you get everything that you need. So the Evic VT, is it worth it? In my opinion, most certainly yes. But it's a combination. There's a lot of new machines coming out that are fairly similarly priced. Some might even be a bit lower. But to be honest with you, it was really, I wanted it for the look. I just liked the look of it. The functionality of it was unknown to me when I bought it. Now that I have it, I really like it. So it was worth the extra $30 than some of the other machines, other mods out there that have the temperature control, and they have a bit more power, but I don't need anything more than 60 for this. As I mentioned, I have my Sigelli 150 if I really want to go and use that power. All in all, it's a very good unit. You have to get used to it. I've been talking to some people and saying, you can't pull this out of a box, put in juice, slap in the coil head, get it going, and saying, oh, well, something's wrong. This doesn't taste right, or that doesn't taste right. You really have to play with it. And in my opinion, that goes for a lot of different tanks and mods. When you're putting it in, you have to adjust wattages. Well, in this, you have to adjust temperatures, more than wattages. But you might want to play with that as well. Let me have a vape. you got to try Papa's custard at Vapeshore. It's really good. I'm nearly done. So Wes, I have to order some. I'm probably going to get the bigger bottle. So that's it. The Evic VT. It's a massive plus for me. Is it finicky? It did have some kind of quirks to it. Sometimes it wouldn't pick up the coil properly, and I had to take off the tank and screw it back on, and suddenly it was working right. But other than that, it has a bit of a battery rattle on the fire button. You can't hear it. I can feel it. But overall, really, really nice. I like the fact that I don't have to bring batteries with me. I just got to bring the charge cord. I like the fact that I could use it while it's charging and has that pass through. So the positives for me far outweigh the negatives. And it is, depending on the color you like, you have that choice. I haven't used the sleeve because I don't get it. Why would I put the sleeve and cover up the color I bought? Anyhow, that's it. Evic VT, a massive thumbs up. I want to take the time. I want to thank Wes. I had such a good time at his shop, and I miss him already. But thank you, Wes. You were a very hospitable host while I was there, and I really enjoyed myself. And folks, I want to thank you. I love having you over. Thanks for dropping by. I hope you got something out of it. Stay healthy and happy vaping. Take care, folks.